Equally distribute yourself.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter where your friends are.
How many? 3.
How
How many people are there altogether?
6.
Oh, there's 3. Okay, beautiful.
You don't see each other, right?
Can you see each other?
Okay, so time's up. Let's tell our names. What's your group name?
Leo.
Leo. Beautiful. Yay. Clap of hands for Leo. How about this group?
Coffee lovers.
Coffee lovers. We all love coffee. So how this game will go is we're going to have 2 sections. Section A, Section B. In each section, we're going to ask you a bunch of random questions, and we would like to hear your answers for those questions. Is it clear? Any questions?
How long should our answers be?
Depends on the question. But most of them are straightforward, so just like 1 word, 2 words. Okay.
Do you
So
say
it's
it
not-
as a group or like?
One representative can stand up and
Yeah,
say.
you guys can pick one representative to stand up
Do you
and
have
give
time
the
to
answer.
discuss?
Yes, I'll give you guys time to discuss. Okay, so good. Any other questions?
Any questions?
All right, great. So I guess we'll start with the first round of this game. Yeah? Okay, let's start. So what is the name of the first Sultan of Brunei?
The Sultan of
Yeah.
Write it
What's the name of the first Sultan of Brunei? Oh yeah, write it down first, and then we'll give you.
You guys don't say it out loud because the next team can hear you.
Oh, I thought it's 2 answers. Oh.
Okay. Okay, yeah. So group A.
Sultan Muhammad Shah.
Correct. Second group.
Sultan Muhammad Shah.
Wonderful. You guys are so smart. Wow. Okay. Second question. When is Brunei's Independence Day? Okay, time's up. Have you guys found an answer? Yes. Group.
23rd of February 1984.
Wow, intellectual. Same answer. Brilliant. You guys are so smart. Beautiful. Third question. What's the fastest animal on land? Yes, time's up. Let's ask the coffee lovers. What's your favorite? No, sorry. What?
What's your favorite coffee?
What's the fastest animal on land?
Cheetah.
Cheetah. Cheetah. Wow, you guys are so smart. Okay, final question. What's the longest river in the world? Yes. Hint, hint. So, yes, go ahead.
River Nile.
Beautiful.
River.
Yes, okay. Now we will go to the second round of this game. Now we will give you resources to answer your questions. And we'll give you more time to answer those questions. So we will start with the first question. When was the 26th Amendment to the U.S. passed? Okay, so the first group to answer the question wins the round, okay? So who has the first answer? What's the name of your group again?
Leo.
Leo have the answers already. What's the answer?
23rd March 1971.
Wow, well done. They have already found the answers. Now we're going to go to the second question. Which island did Margaret Mead study in the 1920s? I'll repeat the question again. Which island did Margaret Mead study in the 1920s? Third call. Which island did Margaret Mead study in the 1920s? I will give you one final time. Read the question. Which island did Margaret Mead study in the 1920s? So, Leo, what's the answer?
Theory.
Caribbean Island.
Caribbean islands, what's the answer?
Samoa.
Samoa. Close enough. Samoa Islands. But Caribbean too, yeah. Okay, third question. Can you define deviance? The first group to give the answer can put their hands up. Yes.
Departing from usual or accepted standards, especially social or sexual behavior.
Wow, yes. Oh, you guys found the answer already? Yes.
The recognized violation of cultural norms.
Yes, that's also acceptable. Okay, fourth question. Who developed the biological theory of criminality? Who developed the biological theory of criminality? I'll repeat the question. Who developed the biological theory of criminality? Yes.
It's Caesar Lombroso.
Yes, that's the answer. Caesar Lombroso. Now we're going to go to the final question. Who created the containment theory? Who came up with the containment theory?
No idea. Leo.
Yes.
It's George F. Kennan.
Yes. Well done, guys. Well done. So, the first question. Okay, so this is the end of the second round. And who's the winner?
Leo.
Leo.
You win.
Congratulations, Leo. Now we shall remove the whiteboard, and both groups will get to interact with each other and discuss what has just happened. Wonderful. So, Leo, can you please tell us about your experience answering these questions?
It was easy peasy.
Easy
Why do you
peasy.
think it's easy?
Technology, very fast.
Brilliant. How about coffee lovers? How do you feel about this process?
It's dreadful. No, I mean on a serious note, they were just faster because they had the device. Even with books, we were quite as fast because we managed to get like, at least one answer right on time.
Did you get all the answers though?
No.
We were near.
Yeah,
We were near, but then like the thing is, you asked one of them and then you closed it off. You didn't ask if we had an answer.
Because we told the first person to put their hands
Yeah,
up.
that's
so-
the thing. So they just got faster, but it was closer amount of time for us to get there as well.
Okay.
You won.
So do you think there's a problem with one taking more time than the other? Let's say you have to finish your homework. Which one is at more advantage than the other? Who has the advantage?
Obviously, the one with the internet.
Why?
It's just more
Because it
efficient.
take less time to search for it. Yeah. Sometimes
Yes.
when you search something,
Mhm.
there's related with what you're searching.
Mhm.
It comes up, so you can just type it in,
Mhm.
It's
click
efficient.
it.
Yes.
But I think you learn more from a textbook though. Because then, for example, we will be given to a certain page. That means we have to read the whole concept and things related with it.
Mhm.
So that way they might just get a certain definition or like a certain phrase. Oh, okay, this answers it. You don't fully understand what it might be going into.
Mhm.
But in the textbook, you have to read the whole thing and understand the whole concept before you get to the root of the answer, to a certain extent.
Agree?
I think I have slightly different opinion.
Okay.
It's like if you were to search, say for example, stratification on Google, right? And then like it will immediately lead for you to have there's a lot of things to talk about stratification, and eventually you click one by one, and you open up all the tabs and you just click again, and then you eventually get an idea from all different perspectives or a whole picture eventually, and it's the same as textbook. It's just textbook paper. That thing is just
Let's say like I'm a lecturer and I give you guys a task, right? And then I say the task is due tomorrow. Would you prefer finishing the task through referring to a textbook or through using the internet?
Textbook.
Why the textbook? Let's say you have a limited amount of time. You only have 1 hour to finish that work because you have other responsibilities to think about in a realistic
Depends on the
context.
situation.
Mhm.
When to use the textbook or the internet.
Mhm.
So in that case, internet will be way faster.
And
Mhm.
it depends whether we have other assignments which is due tomorrow or probably the next 2 days.
Mhm.
And it will be stressful using the textbook because
Mhm.
sometimes you might not find the answer and you
Mhm.
have very limited time.
Mhm.
I'm assuming under the thinking that it's a lecturer approved textbook, so they're the one that suggested the textbook in the first place.
Mhm.
And what makes it better than internet is that resources in internet can be questionable, like Wikipedia and stuff like that. You click on something, it leads you somewhere, but you don't know the authenticity of the certain resources you get. But if it's a textbook, the lecturer will be like, oh, he took it from my textbook, and he'll be like, yeah, it's fine. But if it's online, he might be like, where's the resources, the referencing, he might question the referencing to a certain extent.
Mhm.
So you, even though it's a bit longer, I feel like it's like quality over quantity kind of thing.
Mhm. But you could always use Google Scholar on the internet, which is the exact same quality as the textbook, but
Okay.
less time spent finding it.
If I'm not mistaken, anybody can get on Google Scholar, and like there is a way for research papers to be actually know which is really good. So research papers, even on like some websites like ResearchGate, is not actually like top notch. It's based on journals. So Google Scholar is like Google basically. Anybody can put up their papers there and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Information is there, obviously, but is it really authentic? Is it really useful? That's what it comes up to. So like the paid ones, paid journals, like they are more authentic and stuff like that. So yeah, that's my argument.
But UVD has subscriptions with, like, for example, JSTOR and
Yeah.
other qualified journals, which are actually like paid, but the uni sponsors it. So it's almost a similar thing, but it's quicker in finding it.
Have you used any of those resources provided by UPD? Yeah. So I think that proves my point, like, even though we have that resource of, that, but it's not, like, because you have to go and be in the library to use it in the first place. So it's like it's not actually very convenient for people, everybody to use that computers as well. So it's like, if you're willing to take the extra step and you feel like there's a need for it, you go for it. For us, like, hey, it's easy to do it, let's just stick with Google Scholar.
Yes.
That's the point, yeah.
Let's suppose in UBD,
Mhm.
you guys had like library full of books, right?
Mhm.
And then if we were supposed to, we gave you options between two.
Mhm.
For the rest of your 4 years, you had either to choose from the technology, laptop with an internet access, or just library with books. Which one would you choose for your career? I mean, for your study in UBD for your bachelor's?
Internet.
To get
Vote for internet.
I think my understanding is like, I would really just pick one notebook than just an entire building full of books. You always have different assignments coming in every semester, and it's just an entire building full of books and you don't know where to start searching for, or like you don't know what book you're supposed to look for. Honestly, it's just everything is just on the internet, it's just right there. Yeah.
So raise of hands for.
raise of hand if you choose internet over
It's
books.
just easier and more compact than.
So everyone put their hands up
So
for.
everyone's just
I mean,
agreeing
it's
with
just
that.
Okay.
heavy and
So, yeah.
it's a hardback.
Yeah, the whole point of this is actually there's a social phenomenon called the digital divide. Have any of you guys heard of the digital divide? So it's basically this issue that some people have more access to technological resources, for example, Wi-Fi, the internet, compared to other people, and as a result they have more access to more resources compared to other people. And this leads on to another issue, which is called the homework gap, the homework divide. So basically in the US, so have you heard of it? Yes, so what do you know of it?
I just know the homework divide. I just never bothered searching up on it.
Does anyone know about it?
No.
Do you want to make a guess?
Maybe it's just like people tend to do their homework better if they're given the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe, and they just don't complete their homework if they're given both.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else? Any ideas?
Same as explanation.
Any other ideas?
Find the answers in like certain websites and just copy it.
Yeah, so essentially it's like what you said, the idea that the students in the US, for example, some students have more access to the internet, and because of that they get to finish their homework more quickly compared to other students who don't have access to the internet. And that's mainly caused by their social class. So those of the upper class have more access to faster Wi-Fi, better resources, compared to those of the lower class who struggle with it, and as a result spend more time than the average person on completing their homework, which actually impacts their other extracurriculars and how they perform in school. So that was the whole point of this experiment. We just wanted to show that some people can finish their work quickly and focus on other stuff. That's it. Thank you guys. Yeah, thanks for participating. The purpose of this social experiment is to display a social issue. Now, the social issue here is the digital divide, and more specifically, the homework gap. Now, it refers to the difficulty students experience completing homework when they lack internet access at home, compared to those who have access. And this issue is categorized by socioeconomic inequalities, where one student may have this access due to the ease at which they can access these resources, and another may not have access to such resources due to financial or socioeconomic reasons. Aim Simping, in one of his research papers, mentions that Thailand and India came up with one tablet per child scheme, which aimed to provide nearly 1 million free tablets to school children, which cost taxpayers 50 million. And this is indicative of how many governments are actually trying to tackle this social issue. However, it was not a well thought out plan to reduce digital inequality. The issue here was that there was concern the government would dump the tablets onto teachers without an actual implementation plan. The lack of electricity and adequate facilities to support tablet use in some schools, which means the infrastructure for the technology was not available. So even though the resources were provided for these students, the resources to use these resources were not well planned out and provided for the students. A report based on 12 primary schools in 2013 shows that only half the schools had internet connectivity fast enough for tablet use. It also reveals that school administrators were not provided with any guide for incorporating learning through the tablets, and not all teachers knew how to use and maintain the tablets. Now, this indicates the social inequalities that may exist between different countries, but also within these countries. Now, this issue is becoming even more pertinent with the changing times. A report written by the New York Times showed that the coronavirus fight lays bare education's digital divide. In this article, Wan Dexiu, an elementary school principal in Huli, Yunnan province, said that in some classes, half the students cannot participate in online lessons because their families lack the necessary hardware. And this is an issue prevalent throughout China, where between 56 million and 80 million people in China report lacking either an internet connection or a web-enabled device in 2018, according to the government statistics which have been shown in this report written by the New York Times.
And this could also be seen in Brunei, where a lot of schools have been shut down, and now a lot of the education is facilitated online. And households where they may even have the internet connection, but in fact the speed may be slow, or there may be certain barriers in fulfilling their education in a completed manner. And the main reason for this is social inequalities and their ability to access these resources. And with that, we would like to thank you.